$55 to keep your family from breathing gas while sleeping in an RV. My opinion, worth it. And then, what up, y'all? Today's episode of the RV Voice is brought to you by RVFix. And let me tell you, if you've ever found yourself stranded with an RV issue miles from the nearest service center, you know how frustrating that can be. Well, that's where RVFix comes in. Imagine having a master RV tech right in your pocket. Yeah, you heard that right. With RVFix, all it takes is a quick phone call and boom, you're connected via video call with an expert who can guide you through fixing your issue, saving you both time and money. Then here's the kicker. Try RVFix risk-free with a 14-day free trial. You'll need to enter your card number just like most subscriptions, but don't worry, you won't be charged until after the trial ends. If you decide to continue, please use the code RVVoice at checkout. This really helps support the RV Voice and keeps us going strong, and we really appreciate it. Seriously, guys, this is a game changer. Stay on the road and keep your RV in tip-top shape with RVFix. Learn more at RVFix.com. Okay, welcome to another episode of the RV Voice. We have a different one here for you today. We're actually talking to a product designer or a guy that helped this product get off the ground. They've been in business for about 8 years or so. I believe that's what he said. He'll reaffirm that, but he's also in a different country. So this is very cool. It's going to be very interesting. So stay tuned here real quick. But before we get going, guys, my mic, RVFix. Okay, RVFix, basically what it does is if you have a fix that on your RV that takes whatever it may be, you got to take it into the service shop, and you need parts ordered and you need warranty involved. That could take up to 90 days. What we did is we created a virtual way to talk to a RV technician, a tenured mastered RV technician. So you call in, you have a video call with this guy. He's going to walk you through your issue. 40% of the time on the first phone call, you're going to get fixed and never have to talk to your service bay ever, right? Now, if we can't get it done over the phone, we're going to have your parts ordered and your warranty done or submitted by the end of that phone call. Then when your parts come in a couple weeks later, we're going to call you in to get it done within 1 to 3 days. The typical time to get your RV fixed, if all those things are involved, is 90 days. We got it down to, on average, about 25 or less. So if you would like a discount code to that, here's a discount code. 60% off is going to be $199 for the whole year, and that will lock in your price for years to come. There might be some other options coming later. Not 100% sure, but there might be. So that being said, let's get back to our guest today. This guest is actually a propane line company. It's a propane product that it goes in line with the product, and actually it's called GasStop USA. They're based out of, I believe, the Netherlands, but Martin's going to show us exactly and tell us everything about it. So welcome, Martin Niezen from Holland. How you doing, Martin?
I'm fine.
Hello.
You. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You've been following my page for a while, and I was like, what is this? I had no idea what was going on. So I really appreciate the support from you guys, and being a creator you guys yourself. This is really fun. I'm excited to hear about this because my brain, because I used to tear apart carburetors and motorcycles as a kid, and I still do it every once in a while. Now I have no idea how this thing works, and it's messed with my brain, like the idea of it all. But let's kind of dive into the background. So like you were kind of telling me about your background and how you got started with GasStop. So we can kind of start there and then just kind of talk about the origin story of GasStop as a whole, if you would.
Yeah, so we are a company based in the Netherlands. That's correct. Me and my business partner Matt from England, we built safety devices for propane systems. We started in the Netherlands, and then we went to Germany, the United Kingdom, Sweden, and so on. And for a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago, we started in America as well.
Very nice. And you said it was actually kind of harder to go about going through the Europe chains or whatever, the Europe states and countries versus going to the US.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so in Europe, we like you have those states, we have countries, and every country has a different connector. So in Europe, we need to build all kinds of different connectors. And for the United States, we only had to make 2 connectors. So that was easier for us. But the Americans have different rules, different systems. So we needed to learn a lot and build what was needed for America.
Very interesting. So let's kind of dive into what exactly GasStop is, because it's what it is to me is it's a leak stopper. That's what I know for propane, right? And propane could be very, very problematic. I mean, there's houses every year that blow up because of propane or natural gas, whatever it is. But how does it work to enhance propane safety for RV owners? And is this thing electric? Is it mechanical? Like, I'm curious how it all works. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to relate everything to the United States, not do a comparison because Europe is totally different. So GasStop is a 100% shut off in the case of a major leak. So when you need more gas than normal, it will detect it as a major leak. And there is no such thing in the American propane systems that have 100% shut off. So what you do have in systems is an excess flow valve, for example, in the hoses, but they don't shut off 100%. So if you have a leak in a current propane system in America in your RV, still like 20%, maybe 15% of gas will keep flowing as soon as you have a major leak. And why do I say a major leak? Because we can't make a device for a minor leak, because otherwise I couldn't use gas, right? Then every time when I would use gas, then it would say, hey, minor leak has shut off. So what we actually did is made the device with a gauge, so you can also do a minor leak test with the GasStop. So first of all, it's 100% shut off. And secondary is the minor leak test. And you can imagine if you take a vehicle out there on bumpy roads and you travel for a couple of 100 miles and you stop, you want to know, is my propane system still safe, right? And you can easily do that. We can talk about that later. So it's 100% shut off, a minor leak tester, and the gauge will also, there is no gauge out there that exactly can tell you how much propane is in the cylinder. Imagine there is a fluid in the cylinder, when it's a pressure gauge. So when the fluid goes in the cylinder and the fluid is gone, there is only gas left in the cylinder. That is the moment when the pressure in the cylinder drops, and that's the moment when the needle from the GasStop goes down into the red zone and will show you that's the last 30 minutes of gas. So every company that's actually stating that they can read how much gas is in a cylinder, that doesn't make sense, because it's a pressure gauge and it measures pressure. So it also can change if you have colder weather, different circumstances. Sometimes it shows a bit higher, sometimes a bit lower. So it's a 100% shut off, a minor leak tester, and it's very handy that you can see when you're running out of gas, and you can go to your propane system, to the GasStop, and actually find out what is the status of your propane system. So if you have your current system, there is only an OPD valve on your cylinder, and a lot of RVers think that the OPD valve is your protection, but it's not. So as soon as you connect something to your American tank, then the OPD valve will open because you push it aside, and then you have no safety at all. And that's what we found out when we came to America and saw that there was no 100% shut off. We were amazed, and this is what we build. And many RVers out there, when they hear about GasStop, they want 24/7 propane protection. And an answer on your question is actually it's an automatic valve, so you don't need batteries. And another interesting thing is that if you take a hose, for example, you need a metal spring to function in shutting off, and it's not 100% shut off. Hoses don't shut off 100%. A lot of people think that, but it's not true. So you are relying on a metal spring that is often not working at all. And I'm not going to talk bad about other companies, but we tested a lot, and a lot of hoses are sticky. the metal springs are getting stuck. So what we have built in the GasStop, we don't build on pressure, but we build on flow rate. So you need to. So I got a GasStop right here, and in the center of the GasStop there is a little ball bearing. And as soon as I open the system, so I open the cylinder, then I need to prime the GasStop. I need to prime this to make sure that that ball bearing is in the middle of the flow rate. So it's actually that ball, little ball, is hovering in the middle. And as soon there's more gas, there's a leak, it will pick up the ball and shut off the system. So it always functions as soon as there is more flow rate. And what is more flow rate? Those are the standardization. So those are the standards. There are certain rules. We went with the GasStop to the UL certification, of course, and that was a serious thing. It took us more than a year, and we got a book back like thick as that, with all kinds of approvals, and so when the flow rate is faster than normal, it will recognize it as a major leak, and it will shut off 100%.
Interesting. So yeah, my engineering somewhat brain, or farmer brain, whatever it is, was very curious on how it worked, because it was like the fact that it's hovering there, that kind of makes more sense to me. It's more of it's a balance, right? So that ball bearing sitting there in the balance of the flow of the gas going through. That way it makes it, I guess it levels itself out. But if one goes too much, it just right through it, right? It'd be basically like a vacuum system, right? So it pulls into it and like, okay, it shuts it off. That makes sense to me, because I understand like old carburetors, very similar idea with the throttle body and everything, and gas and air going through. Interesting. So on that, so it's a mechanical system, automatic, with just a ball bearing floating in there after you prime it. In what scenarios would the GasStop activate? You said a major leak. So like like straight cutting a line would be a major leak, right? So like you're driving down the road, something bounces off the highway, whatever, off the pavement, and cuts your line, it's going to shut it off immediately. If you were driving down the road with your propane on, which is actually semi-illegal, but illegal at gas stations.
That's a serious bad idea. So
yeah, but people do it.
I must say there are a lot of people that are lazy about it, but it's important that you follow that rule, because a lot of people think that if you put something in the fridge and you drive for 4 hours, that everything is like, how do you say that? Like meat is that, and but it's not true. Your fridge will stay cool for many hours, but it's not about that. It's about safety. People need to realize it's about safety. And it's just a small thing. It should be in your checklist. Like it's like it needs to be a standard, right? You just want to have a safety system. There are a lot of like tire blowouts. There are many things that gritter can cut lines. Sun can dry up lines. Regulator failure, something is the most common thing. When was it that I really changed my hoses? When was it that I checked up my regulator? And those things happen too much, and it's unnecessary.
It's super. I mean, propane is easily flammable. I mean, it doesn't take much, and a little bit of spark around propane gas, because it is such a lighter gas. It will just go in no time. But so we talked about gas leak testing, and it said, my curious question on this is like, it's a propane shutoff, right? And then you have a gas leak tester. It's kind of two things in the one, right? You get it all right there in the prime, basically around that primer gauge. But is there like we can kind of explain that a little more. You talked about it, but how do I say this? Is there like a measurable flow rate, or like to be a major versus minor leak? Because it says it won't turn off in the event of a minor leak. It won't shut it off 100%, but it will shut off in a major leak. So where's that line there?
Yeah, so now it's a bit difficult because I'm Dutch. So we talk about like 1.5 kilograms an hour is normal, and everything above is actually a major leak. So
Okay.
to actually be able to test on minor leaks, it's very, very simple. You put on the GasStop and you open the system. Then you prime the GasStop to let the gas into your system. Of course, you need to shut off all the appliances and so. And then you close the system, the tank again. So what you actually are doing is trapping gas into the whole system, and then you will watch the needle. When that needle stays there, you will know that you are good to go. When the needle drops, you come back in 10 minutes. You can take a photo, and when you have a leak, it will drop very slowly. It will drop. And the bigger the leak, it will drop even faster. So if you come back like 10 minutes and you will see the needle is still there, you know that you are good to go. And wherever in the system in your vehicle, when you see that needle moving, there's something going on. You could have a leak. So the whole thing is about, you can do bubble tests are fine, but it's a momentum, right? Bubble test is like you do it now, but in an hour it can be different. And for sure, after a trip with hobbly wobbly roads, so to do quite often, like every time you arrive at a new destination, you do a minor leak test, and it's a great peace of mind to know that everything is okay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's just you're watching a pressure gauge at that point, just to find the difference. So it is a major leak dead stop, but it is also a minor leak tester. So it's it's a 2-in-1, and it's for me. I don't know if I were to have an RV, I think it'd be an absolute must have. I don't RV. I mean, I do. I get to take them out for free, so it's a little different for me. But so we talked about the EFV valves, which is the excess flow, and then the OPV valves as well, or OPD valves. Not everybody understands what those are. Could you explain those, and like how does that differ from the GasStop safety features? So GasStop safety features versus built-in safety features. If you could do that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So if you have a tank, there is an OPD valve in it. So it means that if you have just a tank and you will open the cylinder, nothing comes out. So that's the only safety. But as soon as you connect something, there will be gas flowing. So what is very important is that you have, and I think in the most states they are I don't know if they are laws, but they are standards, that you have a leak detector somewhere in your vehicle. Gas is heavier than air, so it will detect a leak. The thing is the biggest thing is you actually want to, it's very good to have them, and it's better to have them both. But it's actually that machine, that detector will detect gas when gas is in your vehicle already, right? And the GasStop is on the source, so it's installed on the tank. And when it discovers that leak, it will shut off 100%. So if you are not there, you are in a boat, or you are with your family on a hike or whatever, and you come back and that thing is loaded with gas, you have a serious issue. So and at night when you sleep, so you have no idea, and gas is going, and the GasStop will shut off 100%, and the leak detector, when it goes, there is already a lot of gas in your system. So my advice is to use them both, but it's better to have a automatic shut off on your cylinder, just in case.
And this thing's pretty reasonably priced, right? I mean, it's like, how much are these things?
$55 is
$55 to keep your family from breathing gas while sleeping in an RV. My opinion, worth it. And then they all come with O2 and O2 sensors and propane sensors. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong on that, I will hear about it and I will fix that. But
the thing is another thing. What we did for many years in Europe, we went to a commission, standardization commission. And we discovered actually that the wish was that they would like to test every single device that goes out to the market. So I picked that up, and I thought, I want that. I want my company to be the best in what we do, and we are a unique product. There's no product out there that is doing what we are doing, and I wanted to be absolutely sure, in the benefit of my end user, for my customers, is that we do not do batch testing. We test every single device, and on every single device there is a unique QR code under the device that actually proves that we are doing like at least 3 tests to make sure the product goes out well. Then obviously we can test whatever we want, but we hire a company from Switzerland, and they go out and they test individually. So it's like a third party that tests our goods. So by doing that, we were able to give a 5-year warranty, and we are the only ones that do that because we are believers in what we do. So for those 55, it's the whole thing. If you totally realize that you have no protection or you have a GasStop, that's a huge difference. And ask all those RVers that had an accident in the past, they will $55 to like be able to potentially save awkward like situations.
Yeah, and it's, $55 isn't nothing anymore. It's less than a tank of gas now. It's also probably less than a nice dinner, a decent dinner. Yeah. At least nowadays, it's been a rougher year for me personally, but it's just in general, it is what it is. I mean, this is a safety device that is worth having on your RV for $55. I mean, that's compared to the RV you spent $35,000 to $200,000 on, maybe less than that, maybe $15,000 on. That's chump change. It's worth the safety, I guess, precaution, in my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion is that, and yes, I'm one of the owners of the company, and yes, it sounds maybe commercial, but I think a device like this, like tire pressure or surge protection or like propane systems like that, should be standard on a. But it's not sexy to sell a vehicle that has no television or a fireplace, or I get that, right? No. But to add this is really taking care of your clients and make sure that they are safe. If something happens, it's on there, and people will appreciate it when you got a device like this on your vehicle. And I think somehow is what the Europeans, how they see it, is that you may actually expect that the industry knows about the maximum protections and put on there the best there is out there, right? It's but I get that when people hear me saying that it's my company, it's my product, but it's truly like we see the other side of many people that have accidents like crazy, and then you think, the industry could use, the customers could use some help from the RV industry, and but we keep trying to make it a standard.
That'd be interesting. I mean, you'd be king of the hill over there in Holland for sure if you made it a standard, because everyone would be buying it.
I think it's to be honest, I'm already the king, because if you are a European company and it's kind of a dream to go to America, and that market of you is so huge. Yeah. And to actually, if you see what we got so many lovely messages from people that adore, like love the GasStop and tell friends and want to give it to friends, and they just want to make sure everything is safe. And those moments are, those people are the best ambassadors for not only the product GasStop, but also for the RV industry, because again, I miss the GasStop, but it's a no-brainer to have a maximum propane protection on your system, because a tire blowout, everything can happen in even experienced campers, it can happen to anybody.
Well, yeah, accidents happen. You can't really tell when something's like that's going to happen. I mean, there's people, I see it every day on Instagram, just watching like my full-time friends. They'll have a tire blowout and throw out everything on the back end. So the back axle gets ripped out because the tire comes out and everything gets really messed up. There's lines going across those edges. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're electrical or propane, gas lines, whatever. It's all basically right on the edges on the outside under the belly. I mean, it's there.
It's funny you say this, because we have certain rules in Europe, and we are not allowed to do a lot. What you guys are doing is we have a special compartment for batteries and electric, right? and you put like electric and gas in one compartment, the lines are going through the axis and underneath the vehicle, like just on the roadside. It's crazy. And this is also what we see a lot, is that when a rock hits it and it breaks, and it happens.
It's a Wild West out here.
It is, yeah. I love your country, by the way.
Yeah, well, hey, if we're in Tampa, I'm hoping to see you. That'd be sweet if I get to make it, but I don't get to make those big decisions. I used to say, hey, Absolutely. Should I go to this? That'd be great. But anyway, so question on this. I mean, is this thing pops into basically every RV type propane system, right? So does it matter what RV it is compatible with everything, right? Just pop.
No, if I take like most RVs have a portable cylinder, and then you will use the Acme. This is the Acme version, and we also have for the Class A and the Class C. That's a built-in tank. We have the POL.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that goes on a fixed tank, and if people have a fifth wheel and they have 2 cylinder on each side, one, then they will need 2 GasStop, because a lot of people also use a automatic switchover. So if it goes to the other side, it will go. It will need a GasStop as well. And if you don't want to buy 2, yeah, exactly. If you want to buy 1, you just need to swap it each time your cylinder is empty.
Okay, so there's 2 separate ones: the POL and then the ACME. They're 2 different things. So if you are watching this, it's not a one size fits all. Drivables are one, and then towables are the other. I didn't know that, so that's a good question. Look at me asking good questions. But you said dual propane tanks, you need 2 GasStops. I thought there was one that had a dual line in.
No, so you use on every cylinder you use a GasStop. So if you have an automatic switchover, you better use 2. And if you don't have an automatic switchover, you need to do it by hand. You can take the 1 GasStop that you have onto the other tank, but most people like to have don't worry, there is a GasStop in the other one as well. So most 99% are buying 2 GasStops for the 2 cylinders.
Okay, all right, yeah, I didn't know if you guys had a 2 line into 1 GasStop conversion, whatever it may be. So that's interesting to know. I did not know that there were 2 separate gas lines or gas ideas for drivables versus towables. So that's glad I asked that question, because I would have never thought of that one. All right. So does GasStop require professional installation, or is it simple enough to just pop in yourself as an RV owner?
Yeah, you can. It's very easy. And if you can install a hose to a tank, you can install GasStop, because you have the tank, you put the GasStop on there, and then you put your normal hose on there.
Oh, wait. All right, you guys won't notice this online watching this, but we had a technical difficulty and we lost connection there shortly. We were talking about, does it require professional installation? You said no. You said if you can install gas lines, you can install this. We do recommend that you let someone professional do it, as from our company standard, because we can't even help someone on the phone with it. If you're going to do it, you can do it yourself. But does this replace now? So I'm going to pull up a picture of the GasStop real quick. So the GasStop goes straight into, you still have the turn-off valve of the actual propane tank itself, or the cylinder, right?
Correct.
Okay, so it just goes right onto that, and then the gas line goes into the other side, right? Yes, so I'm going to share that just to make sure, so everyone else watching can understand. Share. So on this side, so the one on the ACME, the GasStop goes into, I guess, the left side. You have one on your hand, in your hands, right? Yeah. So gas tank goes on one side, the line just goes into the other. Good to go. Okay, perfect. Pretty simple idea. Yeah. Oh, and then the 90 degree. So we didn't talk about the 90 degree. We'll come back to that. I have questions about all the options later. So we don't have no professional installation, but how does all right. we already talked about that, so we're going to move on from that question. We don't need that question. We talked about how the built-in pressure gauge works, help RVers monitor. Well, actually, we did. You said it does monitor propane levels as well, which is very interesting because you said it's kind of hard to do. It's not exactly a perfect science because there's gas and actual liquid in a propane tank, which if you ever carried one, you can feel the liquid sloshing around, but there's also still flammable gas in there after the fact. It's already going down. But does how do I say that? The gauge, can you show us the gauge real quick? Yeah. So it should stay in the green or the yellow?
Exactly. No, so what actually happens is as long as you have a liquid in the cylinder, the needle will stay in the green. As soon as the liquid is gone, then the pressure in the cylinder will drop, like significantly, and then it will go to the red zone. And if it goes to the red, you know it's the last like 20-30 minutes, and then you need to swap your tank. That's still a lot of gas, but so as long as you have liquid in your cylinder, it will stay in the green. And it constantly changes because the elements like warmth or like colder weather will change the density, like the gas in the cylinder. So it's a pressure gauge. So it's impossible, and people see a gauge and instantly, and it's quite normal, think, oh, I can read how much gas is in my propane tank. It's impossible. It constantly changes. So the pressure gauge is telling you a lot. First of all, it's very important to stay in control of your system. You can actually see what is going on in your system. So when you had a shut off, it's going to be in the red zone, like here. So if you come to your system, you can't use gas. You go to your GasStop, you check your valve, and you see, oh, something is going on. And so you are aware and you can do something about it. So the gauge is telling you a lot of information and you can do something about it. Or what you said, you go to a specialist and you ask for, can you help me? So when it's in the yellow, it's an overpressure. It's like a high pressure. When it's very hot and there is a lot of liquid in your cylinder, it could go to yellow. Please cover it or take it out of the sun because then there's too much pressure in the cylinder. It not happen very often, but normally it's in the green. And if you run out of gas, it's going to the red, and that's the last second. It's a very important thing to understand. And again, the beauty of it is that you can visually see what's going on, so you stay in control of your system.
Okay, very interesting. So back to the 2-to-1. Now I'm asking this question because I know that they connect, right? And they'll have like a switch valve. Like, okay, well that tank literally ran out. Switch it over. Could you put it in that line afterwards? So you only have two tanks. No, it has to be at the tank.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my question is answered.
So and another thing is a very good question. Another thing is that the GasStop goes, and this is very specific. The GasStop goes onto the tank and will protect the high pressure hose till the regulator, but also will protect the system after the regulator. So it protects the high pressure side, the regulator, and the low pressure side. And you need to go to our website to actually, because the measurements in America are a bit different than ours, but there is a maximum to it, because a lot of people have these barbecue like connecting points on the outside and use huge hoses, like crazy long hoses, and it has an end. It has a maximum, right? So you need to you can read it on our website what the maximum length is, because there is a maximum on it. But
website.
It works for the high pressure side, the gas regulator, where it's very common that they break, and the low pressure side.
Interesting. Yeah, this is all over my head. So listen to Martin. Go to the website. He can kind of walk you through all that. We kind of talked about. Okay, so how about the leak detection differences? So like, what are benefits? What are benefits using GasStop compared to relying solely on regular propane leak detectors? So you said earlier you should use both. But why is it like, I think you kind of mentioned it. It was like, because it takes a while for gas actually, or for the monitors to actually catch the leak pressure or the leak in general. But is there any other benefits to it onto that, I guess?
Yeah, another thing is that what you don't want is if you have gas flowing, you don't want to have any electricity or batteries and those things always go on electricity or batteries. So you can imagine that if you just need a spark if there is a lot of gas to have serious problems. So, and this is also the reason why the GasStop doesn't have a battery. It's automatically, like you said, and so a big benefit of having no batteries and no extra sources that can trigger something is helpful.
Interesting. Okay, well that makes sense to me. That's pretty easy. If there's anything, I mean, like you said, let's just kind of reiterate: there are electrical components within your RV, and if it's leaking into the RV, that's a major issue. This stops the leak, and then you have the gas on top of that as well. Because if it is a minor leak, still kind of an issue because it doesn't turn off automatically or as well because of it, because of the way it works. But either way, safety precaution. Have two of them. You have the gas leak or GasStop and the leak detector. So great things there. So in extreme weather conditions, such as freezing temperatures or high heat, how does this thing hang up? Because there is just a ball bearing in there. And I think it's probably, if there's water in the actual propane tank, which is very rare to happen, I think that'd be the problem. But if that does happen, how does it hold up in those conditions? Extreme heat, extreme heat or extreme cold?
It's great timing to ask that question because a lot of people are in colder weather now.
'Tis the season.
Yeah. So of course you need to understand the process of gas, right? And when it gets colder, the gas stop could be like everything that goes about like 0 or below, like 32 degrees in Fahrenheit, everything below. And so there are happening two things. The gas stop can trigger faster because the density of the gas is different. And you probably are using more like gas because they are powered like heaters and everything is on. So you are actually doing twice the things that you normally do, and it could trip the gas stop quicker. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it could be it actually. So the freezing temperatures are actually more dealing with the pressure of the gas tank. Yeah. Versus the actual, I guess, GasStop component itself. There's more to it. Okay, I see. So like in the heat, that's why you have the higher pressure because molecules expand under heat and then they freeze and they get closer together. Oh, I still remember it. So look at me.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. I didn't remember a whole lot because, we got on the table and the table really messed with me. But the simple stuff I could get by. Oh, okay. So what about maintenance checks for this thing? Is there anything specific that we need to know to make sure it's functioning properly over time?
Actually not, because the thing is that if you do what we advise you to do and for your own safety, put it in your checklist, but do a more often minor leak test, you are also testing the gas stop. So we built this like crazy, and it's such a huge quality. We can easily give 5-year warranty. So by doing of course, you always need to check inside rubbers. You always check lines. It's the same as when you leave a site and you walk around your car. You do your checklist and. Are the windows closed? Is my antenna down? You do a certain checklist, right? And the same is for your propane parts. And make sure you close your cylinder while you're driving.
Yeah, make sure. Yeah. Well, some people, they feel like they have to have it running, and I completely understand why. But it's also like it's not going to cool down or heat up. If someone has something very special inside, maybe. But either way, it's very dangerous to do so. I told people not to do it because it is they say it's legal to drive down the road, but it's illegal to stop at a gas station with your propane on. So it's like, well, you gonna stop before the gas station? You know, who does that?
So
no.
in Europe, we have is like a standardization that tells you that if you don't have an extra flow valve like GasStop, you may not drive with an open cylinder. You get a fine. So when you do have a GasStop, you are allowed to drive with a open cylinder and use gas. But still, on safety side is what you do with your company. Give the safest advice. So we advise do not do that. But if you do it, then, and it's not an advice, but then, oh my God, you better use a GasStop.
Yeah, it's a very good safety precaution in all sorts of ways and shapes, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have just in general, in my opinion. From what I've been hearing from you, it makes total sense to me. But you also have other stuff. You also have, so you have the two for the drivables and you have one for the towables. But you also share this because you have a 90-degree for like Airstream stuff or anything that has to go straight down the side of the actual cylinder or gas tank itself. Let's go to about gas gear. This is one of them. I'll share this screen here. So this is the 90-degree, right? And I'll kind of let you walk about that. But you also have GasStop grills. So tell us all about it. What all products do you have here?
Yeah, so we have the the Acme RV one, and on the outside we have a similar product for the barbecue one. It's just a different how do you say that? It's a different flow rate. So for barbecues, you can have the GasStop grill, and for the RVs you use the Acme RV or the POL, so Class C and Class A. And what we a lot of Airstreamers reach out to us and said, when we want to put the GasStop on our cylinder, that's no problem at all. But all these aluminium like covers have a certain like space, and if you put this on there, it's an extra length, so it's hard to put a straight hose on there. So we went back and took like almost a year, and a lot of like also companies, but also Airstreamers helped us out by building this. It looks very simple, but it's this 90-degree hose that is actually built to put on the GasStop on this side, and then the hose goes straight along the cylinder, and that will fit any like tight spaces, any tight compartments. What we actually it's patented, and it's it's now there. People love it because there are a lot of people out there that have a very tight space, a very narrow situation. So they love the 90-degree gas hoses. What we actually didn't like think of, but is a very great point, is that an extra benefit is that because of the 90-degree, you don't need to bend the hose so much. So this stress is not there. So this is a braided version, and we like braided because animals can't bite in it and damage it. So the braided version is the most sold version. We have them in 12 and 18-inch length. Mm-hmm. But because this is going like straight down or straight to your cylinder, you don't need to bend it, so it's a better lifespan, and it's not like cracking.
Yeah, it does a lot better job. I mean, you'll see lines kind of S-ing through. Sometimes you're putting a lot of stress on that, especially when I guess most of our customers are in above basically the top half of the states. A lot of them go down to the south half, whatever it may be, but you're in extreme weathers at some point in time. The majority of our customers aren't full timers, so they're not traveling away from the freezing cold, but you get the expansion and contraction of the seasons. It puts a lot of stress on rubber specifically. So the rubber lines have a lot of issues. I would probably have more replaceable time, a time frame. You have to probably replace more often than you would a braided line. So it makes total sense for me. But you also have stuff for grills, right? Is there also are these work for any propane tank? So I'm guessing they could work for like buddy heaters as well.
Yeah. So as soon as you and that's the difference in flow rate. So I advise people to actually go to the website and and see the differences. Because the regulator is actually telling you how much flow you can have, right? So, and in America, you got such huge barbecues or grills, gas grills, that it's
yeah,
so
everything's bigger here.
So then you need we have a specific grill version.
Okay, well, perfect. And you can all find that right there on there. They have in the top right corner, they have GasStop and Gas Gear, and then Gas Grill as well for all those. So this has been a conversation here, Martin. I really appreciate your time because it is later over there. If we didn't mention it, he is based in the Netherlands right now. He's in the northern part of the Netherlands at the moment, and I'm in Boise, and it's 11, almost noon, so it's probably pushing 8 o'clock there for him. So I really do appreciate your time. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we kind of close out here, Martin?
No, you are asking the right questions. It's all about trying to explain the difference between the current propane system out there and the different propane system installed with the GasStop on it. And the more people, the more knowledge goes out there, the better for every RVer that uses propane gas. And you just want to be safe and protect your loved ones. And stay. And also, it's a great peace of mind. So if you go on holiday and you take your RV, you go into nature, you want to relax, you want to go back to basics, and you need to relax and enjoy, and not thinking about like gas or possible accidents. So make sure you do the things right and take care of safety. It's I can't say it enough.
So if you want peace of mind, put GasStop in your gas lines. How about that? Woo! Dropping that one. That was a good one. Awesome. Well, this is that 90 degree. This is kind of helps with if you're working on a tight space. Fifth wheels have this. Motorhomes have this. You said also Airstream is a big one for this. Airstream does a lot of these just because they're aluminum. You guys say we say aluminum over here, even though it's actually spelled aluminum. Apparently, I didn't know that. But that's a good reason there. So, and then this is how we connected. So I appreciate you reaching out. I mean, you were following me and giving me some support. So I really appreciate that. And that's how we got connected. So I thank Instagram for this, but give them a follow because they do a lot of promotions on there as well. So as we grow, guys, please give us a follow on RV Voice YouTube. If we're going to start doing some more things, I'm going to start branching out, probably doing a little more traveling. They might even put me on the road, which would be very interesting. I could show you how I live on the road, and also just show you how RV life is in a different manner. But Martin, if there is nothing else from you,
I'm okay. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm going to say, tell everybody, stay tuned from the RV Voice. And Martin, Dewey.
Dewey.
Dewey. Love it.